on their business, not make to. Of course, I know you understand what I mean by breaking even in business. Now, what is the issue? Why are people not breaking even? Why are you working hard and you are not getting the result? And that's the whole essence of this class. If you are in this class, I want you to count yourself lucky because, it's a training that I've had in a long time. And I see that a lot of people need this to cover the gap. Now, there's the reality. The reality we are in is that 67% of SMEs may survive. Systems SMEs say survival and growth are their biggest challenges. Like I said, 67% of SMEs, a lot of them say that the survival and growth are their biggest challenges. First, of course, when you start a business, you need the business to survive, you need the business to grow and all that. And a whole lot of SMEs, this is where the issues are. First is to start a business, or first is to think about, have an idea, start the business. The next thing is for the business to survive, and not just surviving, the business have sustainability, be sustained and grow beyond where it is. Nearly 50% of businesses don't survive beyond 5 years. In Nigeria, it has been proven over time that most of the businesses, SMEs, don't survive beyond 5 years. And why are this happening? Why is this happening? Why are the small businesses having issues? Why are they not surviving? Many businesses struggle with profitability and consistency. A lot of businesses will start in the first 1 year, 2 years, they will have profits, begin to grow. They are happy, they are mining opportunities and all that. And after a while, you begin to see their struggle here and there. So why? This is the reality we have in Nigeria. This is the reality we have within SMEs. And there's nothing, a lot of people have tried, but they don't still know what to do about it. And that's what I'm going to explain and expose you to within the next couple of minutes. Now, the environment. Let's look at the environment. The environment in Nigeria, where we are currently. I am part of the people that when I started my business, before I even started my business, I had a lot of, I had fears. I had, people who came to tell me, do you want to leave paid employment? Why do you want to move? Why are you starting your business? And Nigeria is tough. A lot of people will tell you those things. And of course, they mean it because they have seen they've been in the industry, they've been in Nigeria, they understand the issues. And some of those issues are, number one, is limited access to funding. Limited access to funding, that's number one. Number two, operational inefficiencies. Operational inefficiencies. What are operational inefficiencies? You can't, there are things that you want to use to work. There are the equipments that you need to use, you need to use to deliver for your deliverables. And some of these things are not working effectively as it is. It's supposed to be, as a result of probably the lighting system. Maybe, of course, today, NEPA is not stable. I know that some of us have heard about the Aso Rock having budgets, or of course, implementing the solar system in Aso Rock. So if a whole Aso Rock will start using solar, you can imagine what the SMEs that require light for their business will be passing through. So operational inefficiencies is also one of the key issues. And when we talk about operational inefficiencies, also we're also talking about the statutory obligations, the regulators. When we talk about the regulators, we are talking about the tax system. A lot of there are quite a number of things that you look at as in Nigeria. You begin to ask yourself, are businesses actually does government how is it that the government does not support SMEs? Now, we also have heavy dependence on the business owner. When we talk about SMEs, there's heavy dependence on business owner. A lot of businesses are depending on the owner for the business to run. When the owner is not available, the business will not run. So when I'm talking about all these things, if you're in this class, I want you to begin to picture yourself. If you're in this class as a business owner, I want you to begin to picture yourself where you are within this. always busy. You are constant. You are obviously very busy. You are doing a whole lot, to make your business move forward, right? You are solving a lot of problems. You are trying everything possible to move forward, but the growth is very slow or inconsistent. There's a place I will get to. I will share a bit of my story to you so that you understand how to move forward beyond where you are. Now, the problem is not your effort. The problem is not your effort. And that is what we are going to be looking at this, now or today, because we are looking at why you are working hard, but your business is not growing. And I'm saying now the problem is not your effort. The problem is not your effort. And somebody will ask me, why is the problem not my effort? Why? What is now the problem? The problem is not your effort. The problem is the gap between the effort and the result. You put a lot of effort, you are expecting result to happen. Now, the problem you have is there's a thin line between the effort and the result, but there's something in between that effort and result. Let me now share a little bit of my story so that we continue to move on. Few years ago, I was employed somewhere to work as a business manager. It happens that when I joined that organization, they wanted me to start a new business for them. They wanted me to start a new business for them because they found out that a lot of, they wanted to register a new business and they brought me in. I was supposed to start that business for them because they've registered the company and they've had several people, come in, they work and work and work businesses to revenues. The revenue is not jiving or revenues are not jiving. Now when I came in, I was expected to do a strategy. I was expected to present a business case on how to run that business within the next 5 years, do a forecast of what that business would become in the next 5 years. Remember this word. I said I was told to do a forecast of what that business will become in the next 5 years. A forecast of what the business will become in the next 5 years. That was what I was told to do. So I had to go. I don't know how many of you have heard about business case. If you've heard about business case, just you can give me a thumbs up. Business case. If you've heard about business case, give me a thumbs up. If you're a business owner here and you have heard about business case, please give me a thumbs up. If you're a business owner, you've heard about business case, give me a thumbs up. Okay, I can't get any thumbs up, meaning that a number of people here have not heard about business case. Now, when you talk about business case, we are talking about if you are supposed to go and meet investor to invest in your business. One of the things that the investor or investors will ask you as a business owner, as a managing director to be, as a founder to be, would be to present a business case to them. Business case is that document that would give them an idea of your strategy, how you intend to drive the business from day one, maybe for the next 3 years, consistently making revenue, right? Consistently making revenue. So that was what I was told to do in that organization. And apart from me, we're about 5 of us that were supposed to become the COO, from COO to become the MD. Do you know that we eventually presented that business case for 6 months? Because each time we come for presentation, after presentation, the investors, the shareholders will tell us that we have not been able to present something that will change something that will give them an idea, that will give them that courage that we can run this business. For 6 months, we are presenting business case. And at the end of that 6 months, we were able to convince the shareholders that we could run that business. And in fact, one of them that was almost about 75 at the time got up at some point and hugged me and said, now we have a business. Now, I want to now come back to what I was talking about before I jumped into that story. Now, I said that the problem is not the gap between, is the gap between effort and result. And what is that gap between effort and result? That gap is what we are going to be discussing. And that gap is what is called the strategy. That gap is the strategy. Now, a lot of people, when they start running a business, one of the things that they forget is that they forget that there was something that brought them into this business. Many business for you to come into the business that is going to guide you, or that will guide you for the next 5 strategy. What does strategy really means? Strategy is a clear direction of your business, making the right choices about what to focus on, what to ignore, aligning people, process, and resources towards growth. Strategy is not doing more, it is doing the right thing consistently. Now, let me shut down again to explain this. Most business owners forget that you had a plan in your mind, and you had done a lot of analysis, you had done a lot of things before even going into that business. The moment they jump into that business, they throw the strategy away and begin to pursue operations. You begin to chase your staff along, you begin to follow them to run along doing manual labor. I will call it manual labor because you are so much involved in operations, and you forget that if you are so much involved in operation, you will not be able to innovate, you will not be able to be dynamic, you don't do research, you don't check what is going on every year about that industry. Strategy is making sure that you focus, don't focus on operation. What to focus on is you understand what to focus on. And one of the things that you must focus on is to focus on the trend of your business. What is the new thing in that business that you're doing? Which technology are they, people using that business, which technology are they adopting at the moment? What is going on? What is the market share within the industry where you are? What is the new thing about the business that you are doing? If you don't do research, that's why most people will tell you that some CEOs don't sleep. When they come back to after work, they sit down. A lot of CEOs, you see, most of the organizations that you see growing very well today, most of their CEOs, especially the ones that are still stronger, they put a lot of effort in, number one, reading and doing research about their business, updating their strategy. Because let me tell you something. The strategy that you used to set up business in 2023, if you don't consistently change that strategy and do a lot of rejigging about that strategy, within the next 3 years, that strategy will be obsolete. If you are chasing operation as a business manager, as a founder, chasing operation and chasing sales alone, and forgetting that you need to look at your strategy again, after a while, you find out that most of your clients will begin to look for organizations that are doing new things, right? So what strategy does for you is that strategy brings you back, it takes you back to the reason why you started the business. And when it takes you back to the reason why you started the business, you now begin to check some of the things that you promised yourself that you're going to do that you have not done because you are focusing too much on operation. So one of the areas that you have to look at as a business owner when you see that you are working too hard and you're not getting results is that go back to your strategy, right? That your strategy will tell you where to focus on, what to ignore, how to align people, process, and resources towards growth. So that's number one. Let's continue. Now, how strategy improves business growth? How does strategy improve business growth? Number one is that when you begin to look at your strategy, it focuses effort on the high impact activities. Because it's possible that you are working on operations and you are ignoring the high impact activities, right? When you go back to your strategy, you might need to move from that's what you have been focusing on to focus on the high impact activities, are those activities that will translate into real margin, right? Now, another thing that strategy does for you is that it eliminates waste and unnecessary work. A lot of us are busy, but we are not really investing in work that are necessary or jobs that are necessary, jobs that will translate into real revenue. So what strategy does for you is that it will eliminate waste. It will get you into real.
Okay, don't worry. Okay.
Okay. So are we together? Are we together? I hope you are hearing me. Are we together? Please give me thumbs up if you are following my lecture, please. If you are here, just let me know that some people are hearing me. Awesome. Thank you, John. Thank you, Delani. Thank you. Dumebi, are we there? I can see Dumebi. I can see Chimiz. Now, we also, another thing that's for you is that and direction. Now, when you have a very good strategy, the moment the moment you are adopting that strategy, you will have direction to where you are going to. That's why you see OP today, OP, they are doing very well. You know, when fintech came, a lot of people were still laughing, thinking that fintech is not going to do anything. Some of the major commercial banks, they were all thinking that fintech was not going to swallow them. But today, a lot of see OP, see money point. The moment you make your credit, in fact, let me tell you something that has even happened now because of OPay, money points, and all that. If you, I don't know whether you've noticed it. If you make any transfer now to commercial bank, to another commercial bank, it does not take more than 30 minutes. You get that. That transfer. If somebody transfers money to you, let me give you an instance. If you are using I don't want to mention any commercial bank because for want of for confidentiality purposes and also not to advertise them. If you transfer money to one commercial bank to another commercial bank, you'll find out that within the next 30, it will not even take up to 30 minutes to get it. Why? Because they found out that OPay, the moment you transfer money to OPay from any account, it just like, bam, the person will get it. The same thing with money points. So there's so much competition right now within the banking industry, banking system because of what? Because of fintech. And what has fintech done? Fintech, what they've done is simple. They have been consistent. They have maintained their direction. And what has made them to maintain that direction is because of their strategy. So strategy is very, very key when you are running a business. Number 3 or number 4 of why strategy is important is that strategy makes growth intentional and not accidental. Without strategy, effort is scattered. With strategy, growth becomes predictable. When you have a good strategy, you can predict your next 5 years as a business owner. When you have the right strategy as a business owner, you can predict your next 5 years. Why? Because you know that you have set your ball in motion. You know what you've done. But if you don't have the right strategy, your growth is unpredictable. You cannot predict it. And your effort will be scattered as a business owner. Excuse me. So one of the key problems why your effort is not being recognized or your effort is not translating to results is possibly you have not been able to put your strategy in place, consistently focus, see how you can work within your strategy and business case that you had before starting that business. Now, another thing that can make a business to be not to be, make you to work too much and not seeing results is what we call structure and systems, or what I call structure and systems. Structure and systems. I know you must have heard that word before, but I will explain to you again. Structure and systems. What are structure and systems? Structure defines the roles, excuse me, the responsibilities, and the reporting lines. Please listen again. When you have a structure, what structure does is that the structure will define clear roles, clarify the roles that you have. It defines responsibilities that you have within your industry or within your business. Structure will also define reporting lines. Reporting lines. It defines reporting lines that you have within your system, right? So what does that mean? That's why you see some organizations or you see some employees, they work in an organization for the next 6 months, 3 months. They will say they want to leave. You ask them why do they want to leave? They will say there's no structure. Has somebody heard that before? They don't have structure. They don't have structure, right? They say they don't have structure. Or the person will say, I want to leave. They don't have structure. Another person will leave in the next minute. Why? They say, I beg, the roles are not clarified. I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't even know what I came to do. It seems as if I'm doing too many things at the same time. It seems as if around structure. So when you are running a business without having results, all right? So you must understand that you need to put proper structure in place around rules, responsibilities, and reporting lines. Again, like I said structure and systems. So what are systems? Systems will help you to define processes for how your work gets done. Remember this system, your system, if you put a proper system in place, your system should help you to define processes for how work gets done, right? System will help you to define processes on how work gets done. Ensure consistency and not guesswork. Structure defines who does the work, and system defines how the work gets done. Structure defines who does the work, system defines how the work gets done. So you can actually have structure in place, but the system is not in place. And so let me define systems. Assuming you have three departments in your organization. You have HR, you have IT, and you have accounts. You have been able to put three departments. That's the structure. You have put structure in place for three departments. Systems are those within one department. You must be able to have systems in place. Systems are things like probably digitize your SOP, the SOP that they're supposed to use and work, how somebody wants to go on leave, how would the person apply for leave within the HR systems? That's a system within the HR system. If somebody is supposed to be given a pay slip, how would the pay slip come out? If somebody is supposed to be paid pension, how would the pension go? What are the system that has been put in place for the pension to be paid? Systems are sometimes you might use technology to drive systems, especially when you want to be effective as your organization grows. You might use to begin to you might start bringing in technology that will help you to have an efficient system, or put an efficient system in place such that people will know what to do at the right time to ensure that they are productive. So structure and systems are very important to ensure that you have the result, not just working every day without having result. One of the things that system does for you is that it gives you productivity, system and structure, because people know where they are. People begin to understand their roles, their responsibility, and how to achieve results. So it becomes easy for them to be productive. Excuse me. Excuse me. It becomes easy for them to achieve results. It becomes easy for them to be productive because you have been able to put structure in place. You have been able to put systems in place to ensure that they produce results. Excuse me. Many businesses don't have structure. They have people. And many have systems, but they rely on efforts. Many don't have systems, but they rely on effort and improvisation, as the case may be. Now, so it's important that you put your structure in place and also put systems in place to support the structure that you have. Let's continue. I hope we're together. Please, if we're together, I want to make sure that people are following me. I want to make sure that people are following me. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you for that thumbs up. Okay, let's continue. I've talked about strategy. I've talked about structure and systems. Now, there are common growth mistakes that people make in businesses or in their business. Why many businesses struggle to grow Thank you. Thank you for that. Now, like I said, a lot of organizations and business owners, they try to do everything themselves. You must try as much as you can to begin to, at some point in your business, begin to leave people to do, trust people to, give them jobs, give them assignments, give them responsibility, and trust them to be able to deliver. When you begin to do everything yourself, you can struggle, you can work too hard without achieving results, because that's the whole essence of having people. Another mistake that a lot of organizations and businesses make why they are not achieving results is because they hire without clear roles or structure. Before you're hiring, you must understand the roles. You must have, put structure in place before you're hiring. Again, another mistake that organizations make and small businesses is that they focus on daily operation over growth. Daily operation over growth. I've seen organizations that they, in fact, for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they are having operation meeting every time. You are having meeting upon meeting upon meeting, without having to, get into the real work. When you put yourself more on operation, your business will struggle. I'm not saying that operation is not good, but you must be able, as a business manager and as a founder, draw the line between operations and strategy. Now, a lot of organizations are working harder instead of working strategically. Most businesses don't fail from lack of effort, they fail from lack of direction. So when you be asking yourself, when you begin to think about your businesses, you're not seeing results in your business, begin to ask yourself, am I sure that the direction that we started, we are still in the right direction? What we planned from day one when we started this business, is this still what we're adopting? And that's why I will advise you today, if a business owner listening to me or you're in this call, don't ever run your business without a strategy document. You must have a strategy document. If you don't know how to draft a strategy document, you need to go ask for how to do one. We're having a conference. We're having a conference, Next Frontier Conference, coming up in September 19, 2025 at Museum Center. After this particular webinar, some of my colleagues will be reaching out to you. If you are interested, you can go online. You can go to Next Frontier Conference, Next Frontier, or go to www.jobrolng.com and register for that conference on the 19th. In that conference, a lot of what I'm talking about here today will be explained. There's going to be a whole strategy. It's going to be a whole day strategy session on how to grow your business. So these are common mistakes that a lot of businesses do. Now, real consequences of this business is that what these businesses leads to, especially in 2026 direction, is you are burnt out, and constant pressure. You have constant pressure. I've seen business owners, sometimes they say, beg, I don't think this is not making sense to me. This is not making sense to me. I'm not, you are not motivated again because you are not seeing results. There's inconsistent results, there's slow or stagnation growth, and business cannot scale beyond you. If nothing changes, the business stays depending on you, right? A business, once you cannot scale your business beyond maybe 5 years, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, you need help as a business owner. You need to seek help as a business owner. All right. So the question is no longer, why am I working hard? The real question is, what do I need to change to start seeing real growth in your business? So if you're here this evening, you are lucky to be in this webinar, and you've probably seen yourself navigating around the issues that I've mentioned now. The question is no longer, why am I working hard? The question will now be, what do I need to change to begin to see real results? What do I need to do in my business to begin to see real results? So, like I said, we are going to be having a conference towards the end of the year, September 19th, on a Saturday at Museum business owners, CEOs, beyond where we are. In that conference again, there's also going to be a 1 million naira will be shared across 3 people. 1 million naira will be shared across 3 people that have the best business idea. So if you probably are if you're probably an aspiring entrepreneur and you have an idea, you want to start a business and you are looking for funding, you can also apply through our platform and submit your pitch deck. That day is also the day that we are going to be speaking to people that have submitted their application for pitch, and they're going to be demonstrating their plan and their strategy for the business. And at the end, we're going to be selecting 3 people to share 1 million naira across these 3 people to support their businesses. So on this note, I want to thank you very much for attending this webinar. And I am open now at this point to take questions if there's any question. Samuel, I'm open for question. Please, if you have any question, you feel free to raise up your hand and take the floor. If you have any question based on what I've shared this evening, you want to ask any question, please feel free, and we'll give you opportunity to ask your question. I'm going to give the next 3 to 5 minutes for questions. Then if there are no questions, I will assume that we are on the right track to run our businesses. We're on the right track. Okay, somebody has just sent in a question here. Hello, sir. How do I follow up on the roles and responsibilities? Okay, said, how do I follow up? I hope I got this. All right. Let's do it. Can see questions. Okay, how do I follow up on the roles and responsibilities shared with my employees or co-founders? This is question from Adelani Adelaja. How do you follow up on the responsibilities shared? When you share responsibilities with your employees, you must give them timelines. You don't need to be chasing your employees around. That's the whole essence of giving timelines. When there must be timeline, there must be people must take don't just say, oh, go and do this, and then you don't say, come back, report to me, or give me feedback by close of business so and so time. Once you don't give your employee timelines, you will be chasing them around. And when you are chasing them around, you're getting yourself worked up, you are getting yourself burnt out. You are also focusing more on operation, leaving the strategy that you're supposed to focus more on as a founder or as a business owner. So I hope I've been able to answer your question. Any other question? I think I can see some. Thank you. Any other question?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, please. I can hear you. Chukwujeku Helen, yes.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. I wanted just a first question because I didn't really join the meeting on time. So I wanted to ask, you mentioned something about strategy, structure, and system.
Yes.
So, like, what if you go into an organization that there's already existing systems and you try to like make some changes, but these changes doesn't really sit well with the employees? Like, what will you do about it?
If the changes, so one of the things you must understand about employees or people, not even employees, people, is that a lot of people don't take change management very easy, right? People don't like change, they don't take change management easy. But of course, change is something that is very constant. So when you are trying to make changes in an organization, first you must get the buy-in of the being adamant. They don't want to. They don't want to. They feel come again with
It's already existing and you try to make changes because of maybe the CEO said, okay, there are some things that are meant to be changed. And after trying to make these changes, the employee doesn't sit well with them.
Oh, okay. So again, you must be careful when you are trying to make changes without sitting with the employees to discuss that changes. I always advise CEOs. I always advise senior management staff, founders to try to get the buy-in of their employees. Don't just change because you want to change. You must be able to sit them down. You must be able to make presentation about that change. That is what is called employee engagement. When there's a system in place, say this is for the ones of this explanation. This is the business card that we are using now. So in the next 5 months, we are going to change this business card to automate. We're going to automate it such that it becomes an electronic business card. What is expected that you're going to make when you must have made that presentation with the management and they agree, you need to come back to the employees and make that same presentation and let them know the reason why this is going to happen and try to get their buy-in. You may not get the buy-in of 100% of all employees, but I can bet you that you will get buy-in of at least 30%. What happens, most organizations, why some employees resist change, that's the word I've been looking for. Resist change is because sometimes you lord change over them. You don't get their buy. You don't let them know why, and that's why sometimes when you introduce new thing in an organization without letting an employee know, some of them will frustrate it. They will frustrate it. Let me give you an instance. You were using manual leave request before. All of a sudden, you just wake up from nowhere and then implement um, uh, um, technology. You just automated the leave whatever, and then you the leave application, and then you just came and the morning and say everybody we have automated the leave application. Go online, and some people will just be looking at you. In fact, some people, even some head of department, even some people that you think they are management, they will try to frustrate you. Why? Because they feel you did not discuss it with them. So first is to make sure that you have that discussion. At least let them know. Let them even know. Then let it be that they are aware, but they are now resisting it. If they are now resisting it, you now begin to draw what is called the policy. You have to put policy in place because after you've told them, you have discussed it with them, you have defined all the things. The next thing is to have a policy that will guide that system that you have put in place. I don't know whether I've been able to answer your question.
Yes, sir, you did.
All right. Thank you very much, Helen. Yeah, Adelaja, thank you very much. I can see you just mentioned that you are joining from Just and you are the MD of Della founder of Della Free. All right. Thank you very much for that introduction. Yes. Any other question? Okay, I can see Adioye. Hello, sir. Let me check your question here. Hello. You made mention of strategy, structure, and systems when planning to establish a business. Which of these comes first? Right. Okay. Thank you for asking that question. Which of these comes first? Strategy, structure, and system. The first thing that comes when you are trying to start a business is what is called business strategy. Business strategy. Some people call it business plan. Some people call it business plan. Some people call it business strategy. So what is the strategy? The strategy will define what your business will look like. It will define your objective, business objective, vision, mission, your core values, everything about that business. It will also define the kind of people that you are going to work with. It will also define the kind of color, the font size of your email, the kind of your movement from day one to day 5 of that business. It will also give you a 5-year plan. Some strategy will be some people will draft 3-year strategy. Some people will draft 5-year strategy. Some people will even draft 3 years. 3 years and 5-year strategy. Because as you go, you continue to review founder and as a business owner is to question. I think Mr. Adoye, I hope I answered your question.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much for asking that question. I have another question here. This person says, that's Abdul Majud Sablahi. This person said, I am a startup owner, a business owner, a mobile barber. How do I manage structure and system? How do I manage structure and system? You have to manage structure and system by having what I call an SOP. SOP is standard operating procedure. For yourself, even if you are operating for yourself, you must have an SOP. It is what is going to guide you as a business. Structure and system are part of, SOPs are part of your structure and systems. It will tell you how, as a mobile barber, it will tell you where do you need to cover within the next 5 months. Where do I, at what point, at what time do I need to move? If it's mobile, what time do I need to, go to, move around if you are mobile, the timing, so that your customer already knows that between so and so time to so and so time, you are live, you are online, you are mobile. Within so and so time to so and so time, you are not mobile. That is a structure. That is SOP. Your barber, your people knows that, or know that you have free mobile barbers, and that is how they operate, right? So those are the things that you must, structure and systems would be embedded into your SOPs. You must make sure that you draft an SOP for yourself, and that SOP must be made known to all the barbers that are working with you. I hope I've been able to answer your question. I've been able to answer your question. All right. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Master. You all see now why I call him the master trainer, the person of Mr. Chigo Okeke. Thank you so much for that well defined, for that well put out session. I can see now that people like Adelani, people like Adeoye, you've gotten a whole lot from his explanation so far, and I can see now that he has broken down some of your pain points. He has let you know that it is not your effort that is the problem. Everybody is working hard, but it just doesn't, the growth just doesn't come. He has shown you that it's because there is a gap between your effort and the results. He has let you know that the gap is the strategy, your clear business direction. And I hope that you are going to take out time to start actioning on most of the things that he has said here today. I'm sure you've learned. So if you've learned something here today, just give a thumbs up. Just give a thumbs up. Let's do this. Just give a thumbs up. Just give a thumbs up. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Adeoye, Adelani, Ejiro, Adeola, Dumebi, Iheke, Chukwujeku, Abdulmojib, EJ, Beatrice, Noak. Thank you so much. Now, at Job Role Consulting, this is what we do. We handle businesses and we help you project into the future of your business. We help you.
Samuel, they're not hearing you again. Okay, let me take up because I think his network is. Samuel, can you hear us? Okay, so while he's trying to sort out his network, at Job Role Consulting, we are a HR consulting organization. We help businesses to navigate through this kind of challenges that they're having. We help business to do recruitment. We help to do outsourcing. We are having a very powerful conference, like I said, coming up in September. Please, before I continue, please go like our page, www.jobroleng.com. Check us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and like us, follow us for subsequent. You'll be getting a lot of business ideas and all that. And if you can make it on your Lagos way to Mizon Center, I can bet you something that you will love. You are not going to regret that you make that decision. And if you've enjoyed this session this evening, please, we are going to be having us on this webinar, and we look forward to having you in the next webinars. Thank you very much. Have a nice and well rested weekend.